welcome back to the channel. Today we're out on Billings Canyon Trail. This is a super fun trail located right outside Grand Junction, Colorado. We're gonna also run up Pinch Point. This is a super cool new trail that is short and technical. So it's a trail that's a lot of fun, and it makes coming to the Billings Trail area a whole lot better day.
It's great to get back out here on this trail, Pinch Point. Now, for those who've seen the channel before, back in the early summer I made a video on the first day this trail was open. So after the first group went through, we were the second group. And I made it all the way to the end and then got hung up on the exit shelf. So today I want to see if I can climb out of this one completely unassisted. So this is basically the start of the trail right after you leave Billings Canyon. This trail just does a loop right off Billings Canyon and then ends up right back on Billings Canyon. So it adds a whole nother trail to this whole Billings Trail area complex. It's not very long after you leave Billings Canyon that you find yourself in the namesake obstacle, and this is the Pinch Point obstacle right here. And you can see why they call it Pinch Point. Basically, you almost got to go through this one sideways. Basically, crab walk your way through this obstacle. That's why this one would be really tough to try and make it with the drag axle. But it'd be super cool to see somebody actually make it through here one of these days without rear steer. What I do is basically crab walk it sideways till my belly starts to hit the cliff wall, and then I back up straight, turn it sideways again, and just keep making progress by doing that. At this point, it sure doesn't make it feel like you're making much progress. However, each time we do this, we're getting a few inches further than we did the last time. And basically, I gotta get my belly past this point that's sticking out right here, and once I do that, it gets a whole lot easier. This right here is basically the narrowest spot of the obstacle. You don't have much room to back up, and you don't have much room to go forward. You just got to kind of keep working your way sideways through here. Now this shot hasn't really been edited, so it gives you a pretty good idea of real time on what it's like working through this obstacle. Now this car turns pretty good. It turns at least 45 degrees front and rear, so I can make pretty good gains working my way through it. At this point, I basically just put it in the front only and dig it around so that I can fall into that notch right there. You pretty much the next notch go through sideways and rub your roll cage pretty hard against the cliff wall. It's at this point right here, my head is just inches away from that wall. You can see how close it is. However, the tube is keeping the rock safely away from me, and I pivot in place and slide on through. Now this shot is pretty much unedited, a live walkthrough of what this trail's like. And as you can see, I'm just working my way through this without any spotting. The first time I went through, I had people kind of helping me with spotting. And my goal is always to try and drive something on my own without anybody basically giving me any advice. I think it's a lot more fun like that, but sometimes I get myself into bad situations and I need a little bit of help getting out. Now last time we ran this trail, I ended up falling in on the driver's side, and that's one thing I remember is you have to keep that driver's side up high on this rock, because that wedge is actually a lot deeper than it looks. And then that passenger tire ends up landing on a little shelf there, which carries you across this. Now, once you get to the other side, you're basically balancing on the sidewalls of your tire while you have to climb a ledge at the end of this. So it gets a little tricky because you're barely being held up on your tires, and now you have to climb an undercut ledge. So right here, I get to the back of this undercut ledge. I put it into front only so that the rear is not pushing me deeper into that ledge. So what I'm doing right here is I'm in front only. I'm going to work the steering back and forth and try to get it up on that ledge. So as I continue to work it back and forth, I want the axle to climb up and not get undercut. I feel like I wasn't bound up, so I was able to put it back into 4 and then push my way through the rest of this obstacle. It's good just to make sure that things aren't getting bound up before you get yourself into a bad situation. Now Tony starts working his car through there, and he's basically got a similar sized car with similar sized tires and a similar wheelbase. So his car works through this obstacle pretty similar to mine. Tony ends up working a combination of front dig and rear steer to try and get around this tight point right here. This is such a fun, cool obstacle to work through, and what a great addition to an already great trail system over on this side of Grand Junction. Don't forget, if you like this sort of content, make sure to please try and subscribe to the channel. We could really use the support. Also, don't forget to comment. Let us know what you think of the videos, what you think of this trail. Also, don't forget to like the video. We'd appreciate the support. Tony ends up sliding through this pivot turn, no problem. Now he starts working his way through the V-wedge section of this trail. And like I said, last time we came here, this spot gave me more trouble than the actual pinch point. It can be tricky. I've seen a few people fall into this one. So here's the exit obstacle right here. And so basically last time I went more in the middle near that tree, and I turned up a huge rock that went right under my front tire and front control arm, and I couldn't move. If I would have drove backwards, I was afraid I was going to flip backwards when I hit the bottom. If I went forward, I felt like it was so bound up that I might break something. So this time I was trying this further right line. And the further right line has a little bit of an undercut ledge there now that some of the rocks have cleared out. Right here, I'm just having fun, trying to work it and trying to work the front steer and the rear steer and trying to find traction any way I can. That lower ledge was giving me a little bit of trouble, but once I get up on there, I can get that front axle up and over the top. Tony ends up going straight up the middle, not even hitting his belly off the top of this ledge.
Nailed it. I should have tried that one over there, but last time that big rock was up there.
Heading back out of this trail, there's a super steep, loose hill that drops you back into the trail. Now the video doesn't really do it justice, but this hill is really steep and really loose.
That's steep.
You basically are sliding
Steep
as you
and
go
loose.
down it. So you have to be careful, it's a little tricky, and it's only going to get worse the more people that go down it, I think. After that hill, it takes you straight back out to Billings Trail.